Quite often the work that I produce is created for a live output, so that means that I'm actually there in the environment manipulating content live. So that's a pure performance with the digital footage. So each time the audience sees it, it will be completely different. That's me taking the footage and adding effects, responding to the audience, to the atmosphere, to the ambience, to the surroundings, and then choosing footage, mixing, compositing, and creating a live product. My journey within projection mapping kind of started within the live sphere of using imagery for live playback from VJing, really. So going out into clubs, DJing and wanting to produce images as well. And then I moved along with the kind of crest of the wave of technology within projection and people wanting to actually be able to have more control and usability of how to place and warp projection around objects. Within my practice, what I often do is I take something that's really complex like that and break it back down to be really DIY. I begin with an inspiration from maybe something within nature, I digitize that somehow, and then start to play around with how I can actually start to manipulate that digital footage to create a live experience. Stratum is a project of mine that's a live audio-visual performance, and it's a piece that actually uses projection mapping in a really simplistic manner of stage design, so using white and black lighting to be able to highlight or make someone disappear on stage. The content itself of Stratum is a kind of geometric abstraction. It fundamentally is based on landscape and man's effect on it, how the countryside can look beautiful and naturalistic, but actually it's really heavily sculpted and affected by man, and specifically in a salient time at the moment with exploratory fracking drills. Street art culture's had a massive influence on my work. There's something that I really love about being able to transform a space that street art gives, and really I just wanted to try and find a digital way of doing that within the practice that I have. I came to work with Pete through the want to kind of really expand into combining projection with painted image. So we created a name for this, which was STYLUS, the project, and we spent 3 hours giving ourselves a time frame to create a live performance where the live visual would interact with the painted image as it was happening. I think that the key thoughts behind STYLUS was the idea of having something that was a transient experience for the audience, so it's a moment that was right there and then when it was being created, both through the painting with Pete and myself with the digital aspect. Living Mural is a mural that's a painted image, but it comes to life. It has an extra dimension that's added and overlaid through the use of digital projection and projection mapping. We're able to play around with the experience of viewing that picture. So it shifts perspective a little bit.
The living mural idea was, I feel like it was our idea. It hadn't been done before when we first were doing it. The actual projection mapping on top of graffiti, it was totally a natural creative process. The actual production of the artwork is under projection and then it continues to change through projection. A lot of projection mapping pieces would be designed for a space or for, in this case, a painting, whereas the idea was that the two things would be built together at the same time.
Is projection mapping modern graffiti? It is, really. In the same way that street art and graffiti is, it's sort of transient. It can be there for a moment and then wiped clean and gone the next. It's almost even more transient, I think, than graffiti. You can transform spaces with it. You can be transformative with light, which is something that's really beautiful in the same way that you can be with a brush stroke or a spray can. I think that's a really beautiful thing.
Hyundai Motor, connecting art and technology.